Hello, fourth graders. So today we are going to be talking about how to measure time. So to do that, our word problem is Annie went on vacation to California. Her plane left at 2:45 p.m. and arrived at 5:15 p.m. How long was her plane flight? So to solve this problem, we're going to be using two different methods. We are going to be using our linear model, and we're also going to be using our set model by using our time tracker. So we're going to go ahead and start with our set model, which is our time tracker. And we are going to be using the Make 60 approach. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to write the times that we are going to try and measure the time between. So our problem tells us that her plane left at 2:45 p.m. So that's going to be our start time. And we know that the end time is 5:15 because that's when the plane arrives. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we are going to write our start time. So under the hours, we're going to be writing 2 because the hour is 2. And then we're going to put the 45 under minutes because it's 2:45. And we're going to write start under time tracker because we haven't counted any minutes yet. Now, in the Make 60 approach, we need to make a jump of time that takes us from our time that we're at now, which is 2:45, to our next hour. So our next hour from 2:45 is going to be 3 o'clock. So to get from 2:45 to 3, it's going to be 15 minutes. So our time is that our next time will be 3 o'clock. And we're going to write 00 because we haven't, there aren't any minutes yet. So the time tracker, the jump between 2:45 to 3, is 15 minutes. Now what we're going to do is, since we're on the hour mark already, we can go ahead and just make an hour jump. So if we're at 3 o'clock, our next jump that we're going to be making is an hour, or 60 minutes, so that is going to be to 4 o'clock. And under time tracker, we're going to be writing 60, because there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. Now now that we're at 4 o'clock, we can go ahead and make another 60-minute jump, because we can go to 5 o'clock. Now, remember our end time is 5:15, so is there enough time to be able to make another 60-minute jump? No, if we're at 5 o'clock already. So we need to figure out how much time, how big of a minute jump do we need to make to reach from 5 o'clock to 5:15. So we know from 5 o'clock to 5:15, it is 15 minutes. So now that we have all of our minutes that we traveled for each jump, we need to add all those together to see how many total minutes it is. So we're going to be adding these together, and we are adding the minutes in base 10. So 5 plus 5 is 10. So we're going to put the 0 in the ones, and we're going to regroup 1 to our 10s. So we know 1 plus 6 is 7, and 7 plus 6 is 13, and then 13 plus 1 is 14, and then remember we regrouped 1, so we have 15. So we have a 5 in our 10s, we're going to regroup 1 into our hundreds. So we have 150 minutes. But we're going to take that one step further, and we want to try and figure out how many hours that would be. So to do this, we are going to be regrouping our minutes. We're going to be regrouping by base 60 to determine how many hours it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the total amount of minutes, which is 150. And what we're going to do now is we are going to be subtracting 60 minutes because there's 60 minutes in 1 full hour. So every time we subtract 60, we are taking away an hour from the total minutes. So 150 minus 60. Now, we're regrouping in base 60 because we say that we're taking away 60 because that's how many, when we regroup our minutes to the hours. But remember that whenever we're subtracting these minutes, because we have minutes and minutes, we're subtracting in base 10. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 6, we can't do, so we need to regroup from our hundreds. So 15 minus 6 is 9. So now we have 90 minutes. But we can go ahead and take and subtract another 60 minutes, which will be another hour. So 0 minus 0 is 0, and then 9 minus 6 is 3. So now we need to count how many times we subtracted 60, because that for each 60 we subtract, that's an hour. So we have 1 hour and another hour, but we don't have another hour. So we know that we subtracted 60 2 times. So 2 hours, and then we have 30 minutes left over. So the plane flight was 2 hours and 30 minutes long. So this was our set model with our time tracker using the Make 60 approach. Now, we are going to be using our linear model by using this number line. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need to mark our start time, which is 2:45 p.m. So here's our 2 for our 2 hour, and we're going to go to this third dash because that represents 45 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and write start here at the bottom. Now, the first thing, just like in our Make 60 approach, once again, we need to make a jump to go to the next hour, which is going to be 3 o'clock. So our next jump we can make from 2:45 to 3, and that's going to be 15 minutes. Now the next thing that we can do is, since we're already on the hour, we can go ahead and make another hour jump. So if we're at 3, we see our next hour is 4. So we're going to go ahead and make one jump, an hour jump. And we're going to go ahead and write 1 hour at the top. Now just like before, we can go ahead and make another hour jump, so from 4 to 5. But can we make another full hour jump? Remember that our stop time is at 5:15 p.m. If we made another hour jump, we would be at 6 o'clock. So we need to just make a jump that will take us from our time right now that we're at, which is 5, to our end time, which is 5:15. So to do that, we are going to be making a 15-minute jump. Now to determine how long it takes, we need to count up our time at the top. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to count up how many hours. So we have 1 hour, and we have another hour. So 1 plus 1 is 2, so we have 2 hours total. And now we need to add together all of our minutes from our jumps. So we have 15 plus another 15, so that's going to equal 30. So that will equal 30 minutes. So we know that her plane flight was 2 hours and 30 minutes long. And that is how we measure time.